From Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
The whole time I was thinking, like, God, please don't look in the trunk. Like, first of all, I felt like a criminal already. Like, okay, I got stuff in the trunk. But the stuff I had in the trunk were psychology books and some Scrabble games. And in my head, I was like, there's no way that they're going to believe that that stuff belongs to me.
Federal judge rules stop and frisk is unconstitutional. We speak to hip-hop legend Questlove of The Roots, the house band leader of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, about racial profiling and how he's been stopped dozens of times by the police, most recently just weeks ago. We also talk about the 40th anniversary of the birth of hip-hop, Trayvon Martin's, and the importance of Soul Train and its late host, Don Cornelius.
His whole goal was basically to show the young black teenager in a positive light, which hadn't happened before, because the only time you saw teenagers on TV was either mired in controversy, violence, protesting, being hosed down, being attacked by dogs. So this is the first time that you really got to see another slice of life, and it was important.
And we go to Cairo for the latest on the deadly crackdown in Egypt. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Egyptian forces have committed a new mass killing of Muslim Brotherhood demonstrators supporting the ousted President Mohamed Morsi. Dozens of people have been killed in overnight raids on two pro-Morsi encampments in Cairo. Initial reports say between 42 to 94 bodies were counted at one morgue in Rabaa, including those of two babies. Both sides have offered conflicting accounts, with the Muslim Brotherhood claiming an even higher toll of hundreds killed and the Egyptian government giving a toll of 13, including 5 Egyptian state forces. In a statement, the Egyptian government praised its forces for, quote, the utmost degree of self-restraint in the face of what it called violence from protesters. But journalists and witnesses on the scene reported what appear to be widespread and indiscriminate shootings, with government snipers firing from rooftops on the crowds. In addition to live fire, Egyptian forces used tear gas, helicopters, armored cars, and bulldozers to clear the encampments. The violence marks the third mass killing of Morsi supporters since his ouster by the military over a month ago. Pro-democracy rallies are being held in Bahrain today in an ongoing challenge to the U.S.-backed monarchy. Ahead of the protests, the Bahraini government sealed off entire neighborhoods and raided dozens of homes while warning activists of decisive measures. At least one major demonstration was organized near the U.S. Embassy, prompting the embassy to announce its temporary closure. The sentencing hearing for Army whistleblower Bradley Manning continues today at Fort Meade, Maryland. Manning's expected to give a statement for the first time since February, when he acknowledged leaking classified documents to WikiLeaks, saying he wanted to show the American people the true costs of war. On Tuesday, Manning's defense attorney argued the military failed to recognize Manning was suffering from mental health problems that should have triggered his removal from a war zone at the time of the leaks, including a gender identity crisis. The defense's case could wrap as early as today, and a decision on Manning's sentence could immediately follow. Israel's released the first wave of Palestinian prisoners under a U.S. broker deal to resume peace talks with the Palestinian Authority. On Tuesday, 26 prisoners were returned home to the West Bank and Gaza, about a quarter of the total set to receive their freedom. Most have been behind bars for over 2 decades. The peace talks continue in Jerusalem today after their launch in Washington last month, but on the eve of the new sessions and just hours before the prisoners' release, the Israeli government announced yet another new round of settlement construction in the occupied West Bank. Over 900 settlement homes were approved near the Palestinian town of Beit Jala. This comes on top of the 1,200 settlement units approved Sunday. Speaking during a visit to Brazil, Secretary of State John Kerry insisted the ongoing settlement expansion does not threaten the prospects of reaching a peace deal.
The policy of the United States of America with respect to all settlements is that they are illegitimate. And we oppose settlements taking place at any time, not just the time of the peace process. But, here's the but. That said, Prime Minister Netanyahu was completely upfront with me and with President Abbas that he would be announcing some additional building that would take place in places that will not affect the peace map.
Secretary of State Kerry was in Brazil as part of his first trip to South America as Secretary of State. On Tuesday, he continued to face questions over Edward Snowden's revelation that NSA spying has extended to all of Latin America, with Brazil its biggest target.
Ask the people of Brazil to stay focused on the important realities of our relationship, the bilateral relations between our countries, which continue to go stronger and stronger. Brazil and other countries will understand exactly what we're doing, why and how, and we will work together to make sure that whatever is done in a way that respects our friends and our partners. And that is what we're going to achieve.
Brazil continues to demand an explanation from the White House on U.S. spying in Latin America. On Tuesday, the Brazilian Foreign Minister, Antonio Patriota, said the spying threatens to cast a shadow of distrust over U.S.-Brazil relations. The oil giant BP has filed a lawsuit challenging its ban from U.S. government contracts following the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill. The Environmental Protection Agency imposed the ban last year, citing BP's, quote, lack of business integrity. In its lawsuit, BP says the EPA has abused its authority. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm